60% are growing their AI usage. Only 13% describe their adoption as extensive. But for those that are leaning in, that are widely adopting AI, they're reporting 2 times the impact on both user engagement and operational efficiency. So we're acknowledging, yes, there's a lot of trial and error in a lot of these tools and practices, but the fruits are there for those that lean in.
Today on Customerland, Lindsay Bayuk, who is Chief Marketing Officer at Fullstory, and we get to talk about customer data, which is just, you say it like that, it already sounds boring, but it's not. It might be the most fascinating topic in this whole realm. So anyway, Lindsay, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me, Mike. It's a pleasure to be here.
So in order to kind of set up the rest of this conversation, which is already kind of looking like it's going to be a fascinating one, can you give us a little bit of what is Fullstory? What do you do there? What kinds of clients you work with? Any kind of background you think might help set context for this?
Yeah, sure. Happy to. So I'm the Chief Marketing Officer, leading a global marketing team for Fullstory. We are the behavioral data platform, and our customers are large retailers, travel and hospitality firms, gaming and gambling companies, all looking to really harness the power of behavioral data to create loyal customers for life.
Sounds easy enough.
Sure. We like to make it easy.
Well, why doesn't everybody do that? Right. And looking over some of the early materials that your team and I were kind of sending back and forth, I think it was the phrase behavioral data that kind of hooked my attention first. And yes, there are other companies, and we talk to them about how they are extracting the data and the insights from that. But it seems to me that at Fullstory, that's kind of the core business. Do I have that right?
Yes. Yes. So when we talk about behavioral data, we often say we go beyond traditional analytics that retailers might use on their websites or inside of their product experiences. Those traditional analytics, what our customers tell us is that they give you the what. They don't help you understand why your customers or consumers are doing the things they're doing, why they are checking out, why they aren't checking out. And so what we really aim to do is help our customers understand why their consumers are doing the things that they're doing. Forbes recently referred to behavioral data as the new gold because of its potential to really revolutionize digital experiences, most importantly in this AI era. And so you might be wondering, what is behavioral data? To us, behavioral data are things like pinch or zoom on a mobile app, or rage clicks, cursor thrash on a website or in a checkout experience, straight line cursor movements, which might indicate an agent is shopping on your website. We can, with our full capture technology, really capture and provide context around all of those more granular and quite frankly, higher quality behaviors happening in these digital experiences, and then surface those signals for our customers for them to really better dissect what's happening.
So we're going to go down a rabbit trail here. I hope you're okay with that. But, from those kinds of signals that you're capturing, to then build that into a story that speaks to the emotional state at the moment that those were taking place, requires a lot more than just data. It really requires a kind of several different lenses to kind of understand all the different dimensions of the emotionality behind what was going on at that time. So first, does Fullstory kind of operate in that emotional space like that and try and derive those emotional insights? And if so, how do you do that?
Yeah, sure. So my favorite example is rage clicks. Have you heard of a rage click
Oh
before?
yeah, totally.
Okay. Okay. So our definition of a rage click is five successive clicks in 10 seconds. And then we have other frustration signals, like I said, the cursor thrashing, error clicks, dead clicks, and we sort of define all of those, to your point, the more granular data as frustration signals. And so then we help our customers through our analytics tool really surface those moments and say, hey, look, in this checkout process, we're seeing a high spike in frustration signals. That's probably why conversion rates are down. And so it's putting some definition around those and then making them easy to identify and act on in our tools that helps us bridge the gap between seeing kind of, a very standard funnel drop off and highlighting kind of the emotional reasons that customers are leaving your site.
Right. What's behind it? I've had some great conversations, mostly this year, around the ways that retailers, online and bricks and mortar, are kind of looking at behavioral data and trying to figure out what to do with it. And like, this is purely my own kind of sidelines opinion here. There's no data to back this up at all. But my sense is that there's a growing awareness of the need to understand the emotionality of decisions, which, they've always been there. But I think, like, among marketers, it's like, wait, we can actually understand that now, where it was kind of a black boxy kind of a notion before. But there's still not a whole lot of understanding as to how you get there. Like, yeah, we need to know what the emotional drivers are in this particular case. But, I think they're kind of just looking for some way, just like, tell me what they're thinking and feeling.
Yeah,
Um,
sure. And we see that too. And that's why I think our platform empowers our customers with both that quantitative behavioral data, and we pair that then with session replay. So you actually see the experience of the users on your website, and that's what really gives our customers more color and really a deeper understanding of that customer experience, which we know is essential, right? There was a study that said that 80% of consumers are likely to make a repeat purchase if they have a world-class experience on your website. So we know it matters. Totally agree. It's been hard to really get at, but that's part of what we're solving for our customers.
right. And a little side note, I was looking through your site ahead of this conversation, and the I guess you're originally funded by some A-list angels and investors. And I think, if you didn't understand the power of behavioral data and the insights you derived, just looking at your list of investors would cause you to go, well, if these guys who are really smart are backing this operation, then maybe we should pay attention, because there really are some big names there.
Yeah, there definitely are, and I would say similarly, we're really proud of some incredible brands that have partnered with us, like Lowe's, Chipotle, Pizza Hut, um, Patagonia, and they're seeing the benefit, which is most rewarding for us.
Yeah, that's huge. At some point, I want to get close enough to what Fullstory is doing where I get to see some of that data, because I'm just fascinated by it. But we'll get there over time.
Okay, great. We'd be happy to show that to you.
One of the things that your team sent over, um, was a copy of this report that you've produced called the Reality Check, the 2025 Reality Check, which is Fullstory's Technology Leader Survey. So
Mhm.
I went through it, and, like, just to go high level, I can pull out, like, and cherry pick data points and just pull them out. But I think even before that, one of the things that, uh, for whatever this is worth, we see a lot of research. A lot of companies want the research highlighted. We'll absolutely take a look at it. A lot of it is either super granular, and we can go there, or it's so high level that there's kind of no real genuine utility there. And yet I'm looking at what you sent over for Fullstory, and it's like you've found the really juicy nuggets, and I'm sure there was some serious digging to get there, but you've presented them in such a way that, like, look, even someone who's not a data founded marketer can go, oh, I kind of get it. And so there are numerous moments as I was reading your report, like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't see that angle necessarily, or I haven't seen it kind of positioned that way. So anyway, props to you and your team for putting this together because it is fascinating.
I'm really lucky to have a fabulous team that yeah, put a lot of thoughtfulness into that report. I'll make sure to share that with them.
Um, so you've organized it according to some pretty big themes. I wanted to just settle into your AI section.
Let's do
Okay.
it.
Um, Top findings: 60% report significant growth in AI usage, but only 13% describe their adoption as extensive.
Mhm.
And that's probably just a function of where we are in the kind of comfort curve with this whole thing. Because I
Yeah,
talked to companies
absolutely.
who are like, we're all in, we're all in. We're kind of encouraging everybody on the in our staff and teams to just go for it. And then there are others who are like, yeah, we're gonna wait till everybody else makes the mistakes and then we'll jump in there. So you're looking at these statistics, you're seeing how the companies are actually kind of deploying this and how they're working with it. Smarter to jump in now, smarter to take the, like, the first Indian always gets the arrow kind of in the pack kind of a thing, or you know, what are you advising?
Yeah, I mean, we are advising that companies do take a leadership approach and dive in. We really believe, as the report describes, that AI won't wait for scaredy cats. Really feel like this is a moment where companies need to lean in. It's a game-changing moment of technological evolution. And the results are there. The carrot is there on the other side. We also talked in the report about how, um, like you mentioned, only 60% are growing their AI usage. Only 13% describe their adoption as extensive. But for those that are leaning in, that are widely adopting AI, they're reporting 2 times the impact on both user engagement and operational efficiency. So we're acknowledging, yes, there's a lot of trial and error in a lot of these tools and practices, but um, uh, the fruits are there for those that lean in.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm interested, at Fullstory, with you and your team, how deeply and have you guys kind of embraced the whole AI thing within your teams?
Yeah, as you would imagine, for a data company and a growing startup, we are heavily leaning in, especially in marketing. There are many use cases for us across content creation, across SEO optimization, project management, kind of overall team productivity, and a lot in our MarTech team where we're adopting new tools, testing AI SDRs that can really just elevate our game. So we're leaning in. We are testing a lot and seeing what's going to really drive meaningful impact. Not all tools are, but we're very excited about a few that we've adopted more widely.
Well, we'll offline that because I'm dying to hear.
Okay, great. Happy to share.
Thank you. Um, One of the other kind of data, couple of points that kind of surfaced here. Key barriers to adoption include skill gaps at 16%, integration issues at 13%, and data quality concerns at 14%. And I'm interested to know if there was if trust in the tool set was a factor at all. Did that show up in your data?
Yeah, it did. So when we asked about why brands were a little bit more hesitant to adopt AI, um, we kind of asked them, what are some of the barriers? Some were just saying, hey, look, we're only going to use AI for low risk areas. Um, 17% said uh, trust, trusting AI only with human oversight was sort of how they were approaching it. And then a few lower percentages were just saying, hey, look, we're gonna scale back our AI usage until the models improve. Um, and so, yeah, I would say trust is definitely in there for those that are playing it safe.
Yeah, there's all kinds of different dimensions to that one too, and I'm interested. Actually, we're working on a project to explore that very thing, and I think it'd be really interesting to kind of mash up what we're finding with what you're finding, because you're approaching this same idea
Mhm.
from your angle, and I think your angle is well, obviously really valuable. Um,
Thank you.
can I move into the data section for a little bit?
Let's do it.
Okay. Again, I'm cherry picking here.
Go for it.
80% of companies collect data, but only 25 say they use it effectively. To me, that's not a huge surprise. People have been kind of, you know, crying about that same, kind of loads of data, swimming in data, but drowning for insights kind of a thing, or whatever
Yes,
the
yes,
appropriate
yes,
analogy
yes.
is that I
Drowning in data, starving for insight,
that's
something
what it
like
was.
that. Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Somebody here has to know it.
yes.
So that one's not a huge surprise. Um, but apparently you all are tracking kind of longitudinally how people are improving on that.
Mhm.
Like what's really happening? Can you kind of help us unpack that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I think some of the more innovative companies that we're working with are just doing a much better job of eliminating what we like to call the data housework, kind of the data cleanup, eliminating those data silos across teams, so making more complete and robust data sets available for any team within a large enterprise. And then I would also say, back to the earlier point about skill gaps being a barrier to usage, creating a real culture of data literacy within organizations also helps them more widely adopt the data that they do have available and use it more effectively.
Do you see maybe a better way to frame this question is yes, let me think about this because there are about three questions I'm trying to pack into something sensible here. Um, when you talk about companies that are interested in kind of accelerating their own data culture by promoting data literacy, how are they going about that? Because, sometimes that really is a culture and those things aren't
Mhm.
aren't easy to shift.
Yeah, sure. So I think there's a variety of ways that they're approaching this. This is something we've talked about quite a bit. On social, et cetera, with a really incredible data leader. His name's Jordan Morrow. He talks a lot about data literacy and he's got kind of his approaches to it, talking about leading from the front, talking about empowering teams with ways to learn about data and even the fundamentals. Um, Talking about why, and then making the tools available to everyone. And that's one of the things we see at Fullstory is um, when more than one team is able to access our platform. So let's say the engineering team, product team, data team, and support, and everyone is really empowered to use that data and tap into improving the customer experience. The business just reaps so many more rewards by enabling that tooling for everyone or for a wider proportion of the company.
So that's worth unpacking because I talked to a lot of technology providers, um, you know, hardware, software, data, insights, analytics, and everything in between. And it's really interesting to me if you can take kind of a macro view of the way these companies are pursuing their own growth. It's there are a handful of them that I think are getting it right by starting high level, leading at the front. I think might be what you're
Mhm.
saying.
Mhm.
You get an ambassador, you get a cheerleader, you get somebody in the C-suite who sees the kind of bottom line potential of it,
Mhm.
and you know, you get the sale, you get the benefits, the company derives all of its insights and actionability that it needs to. But there are still a lot of companies out there who are going, well, we have this great product, and a lot of them really do, but haven't quite figured out that the way to sell this, the way to really kind of sell it in and get it, so it's producing the benefits, is to attach an ROI to the thing right up front. And I don't know if Fullstory has that issue, because it seems like what you produce has fairly direct bottom line benefits that you can, attributing those bottom line effects is probably fairly easy to do. But there are a lot of companies out there that are kind of just like, well, wait a minute, I can't quite get there from now. So if you were talking to anybody, say in your partner network, who was trying to figure that out and saying, here, look, this is the Fullstory way. This is how we're successful in kind of selling ourselves in and, you know, getting embedded into the culture and the utility there, what would you tell them? You can optimize for NPS, and that's good. You can optimize for CSAT, also good. You can optimize for loyalty, and that's good too. But here's the thing, if you're not optimizing for total customer value, for total customer profitability, then you're just optimizing for output, not the bottom line. Here's the truth. If your strategy isn't building better customers, more frequent, more loyal, more deeply bonded, then it's not a strategy, it's a performance. At Customerland Studio, we help brands find the value, find the opportunities, the force multipliers hiding inside the customer relationship. And then we help them optimize for scale, for yield, for profit across the entire relationship. Because the other thing we've learned, the only strategy that actually matters is the one that makes your customers more profitable. Customerland Studio, to make better customers. Go to customerland.net and click on the studio.
Yeah, sure. I'd probably highlight some of the success that our customers have had. One story that comes to mind is with Pizza Hut, which, we love working with the Pizza Hut team. And that team, like I mentioned, our product is used there across their UX design team, their experimentation team, and their CRO team. And they'll use it for their experiments and A/B testing. And so it's really that cross team usage, that curiosity and focus around how do we drive a better customer experience and how do we optimize our site, um, paired with, what our product provides, what our platform provides. And there, to your point about it being pretty concrete ROI, they were running an A/B test and didn't realize that the test was not appearing in all transactions. It was a test in the checkout flow. And Fullstory was able to identify that for them, that it wasn't appearing, that it wasn't a failed experiment, but rather an issue in the deployment of that experiment. And as a result, we were able to help them fix the test, deploy it, and drive a 6.5% increase in transactions with the variant. And so those are real dollars, especially given the fact that Pizza Hut is running this across many geographies at a global scale.
Wow. Okay. Well, you just gave me the opening I was looking for to start talking about some of the UX findings.
Sure,
I
sure. Let's
surface.
go there
Thank you for
next.
that beautifully crafted segue. Couldn't have done better myself. Again, cherry picking. Let's see. Businesses that improved their journeys reported a 15% increase in retention rates. Seen data like that before, all kind of within the same ballpark range.
Mhm.
Um, only 12% of companies say they lead in real-time personalization. And that one to me is really worth unpacking because the what we can do with personalization now is light years beyond what we could even do maybe even 2 years ago.
Hmm.
So how does Fullstory approach that? What is it that Fullstory is kind of bringing them that allows that kind of personalization?
Yeah, sure. We're very excited about what, the potential of power of pairing behavioral data with AI and what it will really enable. And One of the ways that we're doing that is um, empowering our customers with the ability to personalize their websites on a one-to-one basis based on those behaviors. So some of the use cases that we're working on with our customers are being able to, let's say someone's working through a checkout flow, again, shopping, and there's some component of the site that's not working, and they execute a rage click, right? They're frustrated. Um, with our real-time APIs, we could enable them to trigger a discount code or a coupon or something that is displaying only for those displaying a certain behavior, but not for any sort of broader swath or segment on their site. And we think there's real power in that more true one-to-one in the moment personalization that, to your point, just hasn't been really possible in the past.
Um, yeah, I mean, I'm nodding. Can't see this because it's an audio medium, but yes, I'm nodding vigorously with that one. Um, yeah, I mean, think back to what personalization meant, say, just 2 years ago. It's just, you know, or 5 years ago when personalization meant, in the email, I'd use your first name.
Right. Right. We've come a long way.
We've come a
And
long
so, and
way.
so much further to go, too. I think part of what we found in the study is that everyone knows personalization is meaningful and important to their customers. Again, whoever delivers the best customer experience wins. But it has been challenging to truly realize the potential of personalization. I think that's how I would sort of summarize the findings. Um, and so, uh, yeah, we're excited to help our customers make a lot more progress there.
So I'm thinking of a handful of the marketing organizations that I know well enough to make this kind of comment. Um, Really smart people, really dedicated to the craft, really, staying on top of the technology, working it hard. I think I've still noted though that technology moves so much faster than marketers are able to keep up, even the really good ones, the people who are just really in it. Um, because capabilities, because new data sources, because new kinds of insights, new dimensions that can affect the way we've thought about things in the past. All of which kind of brings me to this place of like, what's a marketer to do right now? And it's a big question. You don't even have to have an answer. I'm just kind of putting it out there. But if you do, fantastic. I just happen to think that there are a lot of marketers who are really excited about all this potential and the things like companies like Fullstory are doing, but are kind of like going, okay, where do I start? You know, there there's there is game changing potential here. What do I do first?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess my response to that is, kind of like you would tackle any big complex problem is don't try to boil the ocean. Don't try to test out AI tools or new data sources for every step of your funnel or for every persona type or what have you. Um, Pick a couple places where you want to place some big bets and go deeper on those things. I think to your point, I've heard a lot of marketers trying to sort of change out everything all at once and becoming a little overwhelmed. And let's be honest, the human ability to evolve and change um, is absolutely a factor. It sometimes it doesn't matter if the tool sets are there, if the human, the team, the culture is not ready and really primed and enabled for that change. So I would say pick a couple big bets and really bring your teams along for that journey. Be willing to test and iterate, be willing to fail. Um, and yeah, I think those just learnings and eventually successes will come back tenfold.
You heard it right here, Lindsay Bayuk. Okay, last question. But if you had the worldwide microphone for a few minutes, what would you be based on what you see through your work at Fullstory, the data that comes through there, the gaps and opportunities that probably nobody else gets to see just by virtue of, what you guys do there. What would be the one thing you would tell brands, retailers, marketers, whoever about what they need to be paying attention to in the next 6 months to a year?
That's a fabulous question and also a big one. Um,
You can have more than one answer, by the way.
I would say uh, maybe, I guess I would answer uh, uh, we're living in really exciting times. We're living in times where there's a lot of opportunity for winners and losers, for those that embrace AI, for those that lean in, for those that are willing to throw out the old playbooks um, and embrace change. Uh, and look, I think there's still kind of two core principles to come back to. One is don't lose sight of how you're solving your customers' problems, because I think at the end of the day, that's what will drive enduring businesses. Uh, and our belief is that AI is really there um, to elevate humans, whether it's customers or your team members. And so we really think AI empowering humans is the right perspective to have with how teams are harnessing all of these tools. So I would say um, lean in, be willing to throw out the playbook, but let's not forget kind of core principles.
I love it. I love it. Well, I've been taking notes as we've been going along here, and I have at least two more conversations worth of stuff we should probably be talking about, but we'll wait till next time. For now, though, Lindsay, thanks a million for this. I think one, next time you put out a report, please include me in it because unpacking it with you is really insightful. Um, and I'll try hard to get on your schedule next time.
Perfect. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, Mike. Thank you so much for the opportunity.